If you'd spent your Sunday morning walking around a huge, hot and sunny Sunday car boot and all you came away with was this pile of stuff, you'd be quite disappointed, wouldn't you? That's definitely what happened to me today. It seems like I think I may be past my best when it comes to car booting. The quality stuff was at the car boot, so I'm not saying I went and there was no good stuff. The good stuff was there, but there were also people there that were just more determined than me to get to the good stuff. Unfortunately, whether you like it or not, the really good finds at a car boot tend to not even make it to the table. Some of my best finds have literally been when a seller has bought something out of their boot and I've said, oh, could I have a look at that? And it's gone straight from their hand directly to my hand, not even touching the table. And that's just the way things are really in a competitive market where you've got people looking for those high ticket items either to collect for themselves or to resell. Despite this, I'm actually in very good spirits because my best finds of the day today have actually come from another source. And I think it's so important to have multiple sources of stock. We often talk about multiple sources of income as self-employed people, but I also think it's important to think about multiple sources of stock, because if you rely on your car boots, auctions, and charity shops, those are very open to everybody. They're low hanging fruit. Anyone can go to any of those. So it's very important that you have alternate sources of stock, and that's really what's come to the rescue for me today. I've done enough rambling, so without further ado, I'm going to show you my pitiful car boot haul, and then I'm going to show you what's put a smile on my face, that despite not actually finding much at the car boot, the haul I've now picked up is just phenomenal. My first car boot pickup of the day was this item here. This is a Marshall MS2, I believe. It's like a little toy amp type thing. It's like a little pocket portable battery powered 9-volt battery powered amp. Paid £3 for this, and this should resell comfortably for about £20 to £25. It does actually power on as well. It actually had a 9-volt battery in it. It's in very good condition. My second car boot pickup of the day was this 3D Blu-ray player. Unfortunately, the gent could not find the remote. He swore he bought it with him, but he may have given it away when he was selling other bits. So it's a nice little player. I actually checked it and it had a bonus Goonies Blu-ray disc inside of it. So I'm going to hopefully show my daughters that phenomenal movie on Blu-ray. And in terms of resale value, I paid £3. With a remote, you can get about 30 to 40. Without the remote, I'll be lucky to get 20, 25. My final pickup from the car boot was a couple of camcorders. Picked up these two items here, these two camcorders. I paid £15 for them. They're very good condition, they're complete, they're working. This one should get me about 80, that one should get me about probably around the same, maybe 60 to 80. That's a mini DV camcorder, this is a hard drive camcorder. So for £15, some good profit there. So although those were really good profit items, such a small number of items is just not going to be enough to sustain any kind of decent sales on your eBay store. So things were not looking great for me. However, like I said, I do have alternate sources of stock, and one of them came through. I got a phone call, and let me just show you what I picked up. Here you can see there's a couple of tubs filled with farm-based kind of vehicles, die-cast vehicles, mostly Britons. They're scenery. There's lots of it here, so really nice quality trailers. We have got that thing there. That looks pretty snazzy. As you can tell, my farm knowledge is not up there. There's a JCB there, nice die-cast JCB model. There's stacks of stuff in here. There's a nice metal track. That's a heavy bit of kit. That's like a die-cast tractor there. And as you can see, this thing is literally filled to the brim. There's lots and lots of animals as well. These are all Britons as well, from what I can tell from their markings. So there's like cows, and there's bales of stuff. There's just lots and lots and lots of pieces in there in these two boxes. But this is just the tip of the iceberg. The real cream of the crop, as it were, is I have also gotten a massive amount, and I really do mean a massive amount, of this kind of playset. This is by a company called Brushwood Toys, and they make these very high quality slot together wooden farm like buildings and things like that. And this is one that I've just put together to show you. They're very simple to put together. They take a couple of minutes because they literally all slot together. You can actually take the roof off, and then inside you can, you know, obviously place all of those different pieces that I showed you in the crates, different farm animals and bits and pieces, and you can create an amazing play set. So very high quality, very precise, just a really good toy. Now that's just one of them. Now retail, something like this particular shed would sell for about £85. So pre-owned, I think I can still get about £50 to £60 for this, because there's not a lot of competition on eBay for brushwood toys. It's very, you know, it's very top quality stuff. I have seen completed listings though, so there is demand for it. I've seen auctions reach high prices, so I'm absolutely thrilled, and I have stacks of it. So here is just a couple of the crates, I mean a couple of the buildings, and some of these are just rammed. There's so much there. There's actually an even bigger box of the stuff. That's a huge long box crammed with those parts there as well. So I have an absolute ton of this stuff, so I should be able to make up a fair amount of these different buildings. They're really simple, thankfully, to actually put together and check all the parts. So the buildings alone will bring in good profit, but all of this stuff will also have massive amount of value as well. Some of the die-cast vehicles, I'll obviously check their prices out individually. Some of this stuff I may dress those buildings that I showed you. I may dress some of those buildings to create a more appealing listing. But I am absolutely thrilled with that pickup. It's completely changed my day. Coincidentally, I was scrolling through Instagram earlier today, and a good friend of mine, Tommy Bernard, who used to make a lot of really great podcasts with Tracy on YouTube, some of you will know this, he shared a post about how drastically his business has changed over the past few years. He shared a picture of some sourcing he had done by going out to all the different Goodwills and thrifts, and he had barely any stock to show for his hours and hours of graft. Then he showed a picture of what he's doing currently, and you know, it's a lot less work, but it's so much more productive because he's got a great source of stock. And that's exactly how I feel. I spent this morning spending hours and hours, you know, rummaging, competing badly, to be fair, not competing well at all. People are completely getting way better finds than me at the car boot, and competing with all of that, being in the thick of it. You know, getting frustrated if I'm not finding the stuff, or the worst thing is when you're just a split second too late. You know, spending all that energy doing that, and then you compare that to receiving a phone call. Like, no one else had a chance in that scenario. That phone call was for me. I went in there, collected the stock, and the profits there. It's just such a different dynamic. And it is so much better. Same goes with these. Recently I mentioned these Mortal Kombat figures. We've now got them up on the wall. Those were bought to me. There was no competition. You know, it was phenomenal. Great deal. You get good margins that way, and you just can't grumble. I hope some of that made sense. I know it was a bit rambly, but let me know your thoughts. Do you guys have a alternate source of consistent stock that you're happy with, other than charity shops, car boots, auctions, etc.? Let me know if you do. Tell me how you're finding it, because for me, really is the way forward. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.